I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Add it up. Told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up. Matter what. Told you I'ma do me, why you hating on me? It's not adding up. I do roll like a Mack truck, country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Lot of scars, I was cold-hearted, now I'm back up. Keep it real, I do this once a month, I don't rap much. I just take the money and go stack up. Only buying car till you tatted up. All that other bull, it don't matter much. You only climb me, I put the ladders up. No fault, I done doubled up on the workload. I think I fell in love with the bankroll. Pray up, get money, then we lay low. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Add it up. Told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up. Matter what. Told ya I'ma do me, why you hating on me? It's not adding up. Add it up. Told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up. Matter what. Told ya I'ma do me, why you hating on me? It's not adding up.
We did it. Race is over, and it was a good day. So let's give a quick recap. First off, I'll show you the medal. I don't think I've shown the medal, and I do want to apologize. I did have a Saturday race day. I'll cover that race week video, just I never got around to editing it. But first, check out this medal. This medal is pretty solid, right? I like it. It's all the Chattanooga area. The rivers, or the bridges. Those are the two bridges we had to run across during this river, or during this race. So, all in all, solid event. So let's kind of catch you up on what we did do. We did Saturday, and then go into Sunday. So Saturday morning, and I'll try to make this as fast as I can. I know you guys don't want to sit here watch me talk. Saturday morning we had the practice swim. I was up at the reservoir, or at the dam by 8. Got in the water with my wetsuit. Did 175 yards and said, no, I'm not using a wetsuit. I was having the same feelings I had in St. George. I felt like I was being choked and strangled, couldn't catch my breath. Got out of the water, took my wetsuit off, got back in the water, swam another 400 and felt so much better. Right then and there made the decision that I was not wearing the wetsuit. So got out, when I felt good, pretty comfortable with that decision. I commented in there. Helen she kind of said, oh, okay. And like that was my decision, nothing she could do about it then. We'll take it as it comes. Went home, did a quick 20-minute spin, and then Hayden came over and we did his little Ironman training video. I'll link it in the cards, whichever side it comes on. But he kicked ass that had that video. It's a pretty good video to watch. Go ahead and check that out, then come back. So that's what we did Saturday for a couple hours. Once Hayden and I were done doing that video with him, I went downtown, turned in my bike, turned in my bags, and then I dropped everything off at the expo with Pam. And then we kind of went our separate ways. Connie and the girls wanted to go to the mall. They wanted to go out to eat. They wanted to go to Target. So I was like, you know what? As long as I'm relaxing today and not really being too stressed out, I'm okay with that. So we went to this shit mall. Was kind of run down. Didn't have anything we wanted. It had a Spirit Halloween store. I think that's the reason they went to that mall. It's because it had Spirit Halloween. Ate lunch at Chili's. I had this giant burger. It was like 2-patty burger. And as I was eating it, I was regretting eating it. Because I knew it was going to fill me up. But I was watching college football. I was, eating my food, whatever. We went to Target, did our thing there. I got a couple extra things that I needed going into the race. Nothing special. I didn't actually end up using any of it. But it was just family time. Went home, back to the house. I put my feet up and I watched college football. It was like 3:30 or so when we got back. I watched college football until about 7. So actually, it was probably about 9. But 7 o'clock, I was like, I know I have to eat, but I don't want to. And my wife kind of said, you need to eat a little bit for fuel tomorrow morning. So I ate a little bit. I made a little bit of pasta, just one serving, pasta with some sauce, and that was it. I went to bed. 9 o'clock in bed, lights out. Didn't actually fall asleep until probably 12. My mind was just racing on everything that was coming on Sunday. So that's where Sunday picks up. Up at 3:30, I knew I was going to be downtown to meet Pam at the transition to get our bike set up and everything, and then go to the swim start. I told her I'd be there by about 4:45. I ended up getting there like 4:35, 4:40. Met up with her. I got my bike set up fairly quick. It started to drizzle. It was raining. I was like, whatever. It was in the forecast. I'm not really too concerned. Got my bike set up. She got there, got her bike set up. We got our bags set up, situated. Spent about five minutes talking to her parents and her husband, and then got on the bus and went to transition. We got to transition at about a little after like 6, almost 6:30, and then we just kind of hung out. Like we knew we had an hour or so till the race started, so it was just we walked and chilled that to where we were starting, which was a self-seating based on pace or based on your ending finish time. And so we kind of just we found Colin and some other base performance teammates, so we just kind of hung out there for a little while. Talked, socialized, just stayed calm. Did not do anything. We got a couple pictures. This picture was taken of the four of us that were standing there talking. It was a good photo. Thank you, Ironman photographer, for that one. I finished his pics, took it, and then as the Star Spangled Banner was sung, and then Pam and I went our separate ways. The whole goal, and I told her this. I looked at her right before I left, and I said, "Look, have a good race. I hope I don't see you until you're done." That's it. Like, I didn't want to see her on the race course, because if either one of us saw each other on the race course, one of us really messed up our race plan. So I didn't want to see her on the course. So I went up ahead and I seated myself at the group. I was finishing like an hour 11 to an hour 20 time. The projection was for me to be done with the swim in about an hour 10, so I figured that was a good spot to be projected. I'm always a couple minutes slower than projection. Inched my way up to the start, got in the water. The water felt amazing. And immediately, before I even got into the water, I was kind of nervous because I saw the two buoys where everybody was swimming, and then it was like, it kind of looked like they were trying to keep you in a certain area. And I didn't want that. I wanted to go as far wide as I could for two reasons. One, I didn't want to swim near people. I didn't want people swimming into me, onto me, pulling me, whatever. And two, I wanted as strong of a current as I could possibly get. So when I got in, I swam for a straight line for where I wanted to be, and I was about 50 to 60 yards away from the majority of the traffic. Majority of the traffic was hugging the buoys. I stayed as far away from them as possible, but still within the confines of the race. Nobody was telling me to move over. Nobody was telling me to move in. I just kept on going, and I was by myself. I caught a rhythm early, and I wasn't going hard. I was just, 1, 2, just keeping it nice. As Helen says, strong and smooth, right? So I was just pulling with my lats as hard as I could, and I kept going. Finally, towards the end, I had to merge into traffic once I saw the bridges, and that's where people started swimming into me. They started swimming across me, and it was so annoying and frustrating. I hate that, but it's part of the race. Made the turn at the last buoy, got out of the water, and I looked at my watch, and I started laughing. My watch said 54 minutes and change. I think it was like 54:30 something or whatever was my time. I'll put all my times here. So that was my swim. So I was 15 minutes ahead of the projected pace. And I'm laughing. I saw Connie and the girls. I saw Colin. I saw Hayden. And I just kind of kept on going to my thing, to transition. I knew I had a lot of extra time, so I didn't rush through transition like I normally would. I still got out of there in about 10 minutes, which was still 5 minutes ahead of projection. So now I'm 20 minutes ahead of my projected finish time, according to Dom and Helen. And now it was onto the bike. So I get onto the bike. First 5 or 6 miles was absolute trash. Bumpy roads, not so great road conditions, train tracks. The whole thing was, I don't think I hit aero for the first 6 or 7 miles, making sure my bottles stayed in their cages, and so on. In transition, I had a Pop-Tart and a Gatorade electrolytes, so I knew I was hydrated and I didn't have to worry about food for a little while. Electrolytes were good. My whole goal, I had 2 goals. One, catch up with Sean, because I saw him, he started about 10 minutes earlier than I did. And two, not cramp. That was it. If I could do those two things on the bike, it was a good day. So I kept going. We finally hit the good road, and it starts to rain. And it wasn't like a light rain. It was at times, it was fairly heavy. And I'm in a sleeveless tri-kit, and I'm freezing, and I'm going, holy hell, this is cold now. Because the wind's blowing, crosswind, headwind, 10 plus miles an hour. And it was absolutely miserable. The amount of people that were in that little group, it was very congested. It was not enjoyable at all. Like, here's a couple pictures of the race course. You can see how many people are right near me on the course. I mean, it was that close. So the first 30 miles and then the turnaround, you couldn't take advantage of the downhills because it was so wet. You know, it was raining, it was windy, it was so many people, you couldn't get any space. Finally, I hit the turn to go towards Chickamauga, where special needs was, and I still haven't seen Sean, but it's raining, and now we can take advantage of the downhills because the wind is at our back, so it was a little bit better. Still wet, still raining, but we're able to take advantage of the downhills a little bit. Kept on going, uphill, downhill. It was faster on the backside. Got to special needs, did what I had to do, refueled. My rice and BCAA or liquid aminos was perfect. The hydration was on point. I refilled everything. Took my electrolyte drink, went to the bathroom for the second time on the course. First time was on the bike at mile 26. I was in such a rhythm, I just didn't want to stop. So I just pissed myself, which it happens in Ironman. It was a weird thing for me. It was the first time I'd actually done it on a moving bike. But so yeah, it was definitely weird. So I get to special needs. I still hadn't seen Sean, but I was like, you know what? Forget it. I don't even know how far ahead he is. If he's ahead of me, he might still be behind me, and I missed his bike in transition. Whatever. That's not my focus anymore. So I just kept on going. Hit the turn for a second lap, and it was a lot more open the second lap. The biggest issue on the course, though, was there were cars riding with the bikes. And that sucked because it would kill your momentum down hills or even on flats. You couldn't pass them because there wasn't enough room either way. And then the downhills, when you should be going 35, 40 miles an hour, you're pumping your brake, tapping your brakes to slow down so you don't run into their back seat. And they're just, whatever, I'm on the road. So that was frustrating. It was, the wet road made it even worse. Second lap, it was a little less, but it's still there. So I'm going. I get to about mile 88, 89, and I look up and I see a purple kit. It kind of looked like mine. I was like, there's no way. It was like 200 yards ahead. I could just barely make it out. So I'm like, what? There's no way that's Sean. So I pedal a little more. And he pops his head up to get a drink. And I see his yellow helmet. And I yell, I'm coming, bitch! And I got excited because I knew Sean was right in front of me. So I start pedaling a little bit harder. I ended up catching him at mile 90 and passed him. He started 10 minutes before I did. Swam 9 minutes faster than me. So he had a 19-minute lead, plus I think he was out of transition faster. So he had almost a 20-minute lead on me, and I caught him at mile 90. We talked a little bit, gave a little fist bump, friendly competition, and went on my way. The sun starts coming out, it starts drying up. Saw Dom and Helen on the course the last 6 or 7 months. Miles, they were there. They weren't supposed to be. They told us they weren't coming. Then apparently they weren't sure they were coming, and they surprised us on the course. And let me tell you, even though I saw my wife and whatever, having Dom and Helen show up on the course to support us was awesome. Just because they weren't supposed to be there, and now I'm like, I really want to perform well because my coaches are here, and I want to make them proud too. They kicked my ass for 11 months as well. Get into transition 2, and now the sun is out. It's full-blown heat at this point. Get into transition 2. It took a little bit of time. I think my bike time was 6:23, whatever I put up here. But again, I was ahead of projected pace because I was supposed to get done around 6:30. I got done faster than that. So I'm adding to my projected lead. So I took a little bit more time in transition. I got out of transition in about 12 minutes. Still 3 minutes faster. So I'm just keep on building this lead because I knew the run was where my struggle was going to be. So I get on the run course, and people were complaining it was hot. I was sweating almost immediately, and people were complaining about the heat. I didn't feel it. I didn't know it was hot. Probably because I had spent my summer running in 90-degree weather, and it was only in the upper 70s, low 80s, and it didn't faze me at all. So 4 miles walk, run, well, 4 minutes run, 1 minute walk with my intervals, and that's what I started. I implemented that right away, walking up the major hills where I had to, just to avoid spending too much energy. Saw Dom and Helen again on the run course on the first lap. Saw my wife at mile 3 and change on the run course, and I was feeling good. I was keeping my pace around 12 minutes, just where I wanted it. I was loving life at this point. Made the turn after the 4 miles. The second 4, I was feeling really good. I get to mile 8, and there's a stupid hill, and that caused me to start walking. Saw my wife one more time before that hill, though. Their signs were amazing. They were fantastic. But I started walking up that hill, and then I knew I had to cross the bridge over to the Barton side, the north side, which is where all the hills were. And they did not disappoint. They were dream killers. They were goal killers. Barton Hill, I walked up it, tried to jog down, again, 4-1 intervals, jog down the backside, walk up the other hill, but it was just non-stop hills. It was like that the whole way for that 5K. I got to the Veterans Bridge, saw Dom again. He said, "How you doing?" I said, "My knees are hurting and the bottom of my feet hurt." So every time I stepped, my feet hurt. But I kept on going. My quads weren't cramping. I'm about 12 miles in. I'm not cramped up. I'm not feeling bad for the heat. I had managed to been eating the whole time on the run so far, but I knew I still had a whole another lap to go, another 13 miles to go. So, he said, "Keep it up. Let's go." So I kept going, and this is where the run-walk interval started to change. The run started to become less, the walking became more. But my whole focus for the second lap was, don't stop moving forward, right? Don't stop to pick something up. Don't stop to stretch unless you absolutely have to. Just keep moving forward, never stopping. I didn't want to stop my momentum. Kept going. At this point now, I couldn't eat anything. I couldn't drink anything. So my electrolytes that I had in special needs, that was too sweet for me. The sugars just did not work for me. I left a bag of rice with amino acids in there. That was just, I had no desire for that. The chews I had for the run, I managed to do the first 90 minutes. Nope, that was not happening anymore. I ended up having to travel aid stations to do Coke, water, and soup broth. But I kept going. I was getting some kind of calorie consumption, but not a lot. Made the whole second lap. Had to go to Barton. Again, it was a lot more of run, walk. Runs became less, walks became more. I finally get to the pedestrian bridge one last time, and Dom says, "Whatever you can, run as much as you possibly can. You're less than 2 miles away." So I'm, forcing myself to run longer until the pain in my knees really kind of kicked me up and made me stop. I finally get off the bridge, make the final turn, going in, and I can hear the finish line. It's getting louder and louder and louder. I can see the lights. Once you see the lights and you get under the bridge that you have to, that you just came over, you don't stop. So I didn't stop. I hit the chute. I saw Colin. I heard Connie and the girls, and I just kept on going. I did not finish. I didn't stop. I didn't stop moving the entire chute. So that was awesome. Final time, I think the run time was I don't even know what I put here. It was like 6:19 or something like that. I'm pretty sure it was an Ironman PR for the marathon. Overall time though was 13:53:20. Ended up being like 20 minutes off pace or something like that. 20 minutes slower than projection, but still sub 14. I know it wasn't Kona qualifier. I missed it by 116 slots. That's it. And that's not including the roll downs that, I don't know how many roll downs there were, but there was only 5 Kona slots for my age group. But let's be real. Sub 14, which is a 37-minute PR for me, that's awesome. Okay? I PR'd the swim, that may never be touched. I PR'd my marathon, that's awesome. I'm going to get better at that. The bike was a little slower, but we were saving the bike for the marathon. So, end of the day, I had a good race. Okay, Sean never caught me on the run, even though he said as I was coming out of T2 that he'd catch me. He'd see me in a few minutes. I was fully expecting him to catch me by mile 4, at most mile 4. But he, the hills kicked his ass a little bit too. just like a lot of other people did. But he finished in like 14:20, 14:30. So he had a great race for his first one. So I am officially a 3-time Ironman finisher now, and that's awesome. I'm not even mad at all about this race and how it turned out, because everything was going so well. The hills, that's what I think took me out. The hills in my stomach on the run, but that's stuff to work on. So end of the day, I did it. So now what's next? So far, it's Thursday right now. I've been home since Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Today's the 4th day post-race, and I have zero desire to exercise yet. Right? Mentally, I'm there, I'm ready, but physically, I'm still recovering. My legs are still a little tender. I haven't tried to run on them. I haven't biked. My bike is still in the garage. I haven't even unpacked my gear bag yet. My clothing's been washed, but my gear bag is still, I don't know where my Garmin is, my bike computer. They're in the gear bag somewhere. So that's that. I told my wife I'd take a month off, so I'm not getting back in the gym until October 24th. Perfect. Okay, so I got some time to think about what's going on. I'm going to go down. There's a local triathlon in town Saturday. I'm going to go down and talk to Dom, talk to Helen, talk to some of the other. Maybe Sean will be there. I'll talk to him. We can compare notes and then work in off season. Now, I already know what I think I want to work on in the off season. I know my run is my struggle point. So one of the things I'm going to be doing between October and the next training block, because I'll tell you what that is in a minute, is I want to work on my run. So I'm going to be doing a lot of zone 2 running, a lot of base building, because I have the time to do it. The base building is going to lead me to my next race, which is a half marathon in February. Mackenzie's birthday is in February, so we're going to go to Disney and do the Princess Half Marathon again. I'm going to beat my time from last year. Here's the last video, so you can see what my time was. But I'm going to do a lot of base building and running to do that. I'm going to do a lot of lifting because I need to get stronger. I thought I was a fairly decent cyclist until this race. Those hills on the bike course were not steep, but they were tough, and I was getting passed more uphill by a lot of people, and then I'd pass them on the downhill and the flats. So I'm good on the flats, but I have to get stronger on the hills. But I'm just going to spend a lot of time leaning out, lifting weights to get stronger, and working on my run base, my run endurance base. As far as Ironman goes, there's not another race next year. I'm not racing in 2023. There's something that's come up, and we're not going to tell you guys just yet what it is, but something's come up that's going to affect us next summer, and I didn't want to put the pressure of that on top of starting to train for another race. So our next Ironman race is going to be 2024, and we're looking at doing Ironman Texas. So that'll probably start training for that in November of 2023. But that's also going to be combined with another event in December of 2023, where I'm going to do the Rock and Roll Marathon in San Antonio, Texas. So that's the next year. I'm only doing those 2 races. I'm not doing any local triathlons, again, because of what's coming up in the summer. And I'll talk more about that as we get more details and we get a little bit more solidified. There's still time before any of that takes place. So half marathon in February, marathon in December, just base building, leaning out and getting strong as hell between now and the next training block. Now, I will say I will be doing at least one bike session on Zwift per week, and depending on how I feel, I may get a swim in once per week or whatever. I'll probably go open water with that one when it's time. No promises there, so Helen, if you're watching, there's no guarantees I'm going to do that, but I'm not going to go to the pool and then do laps or whatever. I'm just going to get, between 1,000, 2,000 yards of just swimming. No time pressure, no nothing. But yeah, to wrap up season 2, it wasn't a Kona qualifier year. It was never meant to be. This wasn't supposed to be. I knew St. George and Chattanooga were not going to be Kona qualifiers, but Texas could be. And I have a little over a year and change to prepare for that one, so I'm going to do the best I can to prepare. But until then, until we start getting back in the gym, I'm enjoying relaxing. I'm enjoying spending time with family. I'm enjoying eating and not monitoring my food. Sleeping is amazing as well. My energy levels right now are still kind of up and down. Like I'll be good for most of the day, and then all of a sudden I'll get hit with a wave of exhaustion where I'm just beat. And that's still recovery. You know, my body's still kind of recovering. Today, the water weight has decided to start to leave the body. I've been in the bathroom more times today than I have the rest of the week combined. But yeah, with that, I'm going to wrap season 2 of Chasing Kona. There'll be more videos coming in the near future. It's not like I'm going to stop making videos, but I may not make a video for a couple weeks just because I'm not doing anything. There's literally nothing to do. I might make a video of observing SRI just because, you know, I'll be there. But I'm not working out until October 24th, where I'm going to be doing a modified version of 75 hard. I decided I'm going to invite a bunch of my teammates to do it with me. We're just going to because the holidays are coming up, we're going to tweak it a little bit. I'm not going to do the official 75 hard. I don't care. The discipline of working out is not really something I lack in, but I'm trying to do this to help others. If you want information on that, send me a comment below or send me a message on my Facebook or Instagram. I will put the links. Their links are in the description. But again, I'm wrapping season 2 of Chasing Kona here. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for following along. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you liked this season. You can't wait for the next one, or just want to see what's happening. I will be vlogging, you know, the marathon, the half marathon, the workouts and stuff going forward. And then, of course, the big news that we will release at some point in the future. So I'll see you guys in the next one.
Carrying Belbing, you are an Ironman. Robert Hale, you are an Ironman.